Hi class. Today what we're going to do is review criminal law, which we did in our first class. And you can review this on Martin Luther King Day when you have nothing else to do. It's criminal law, and what I want you to understand are some very basic terms that you're going to need to know for the quiz and or the exam, so pay attention. First of all crimes require mens rea, and that means criminal intent. Yes, all crimes require mens rea, which is Latin for criminal intent. The next thing I want you to pay attention to is jurisdiction. Crimes, there are various different crimes, but they're tried in different courts. For instance, as I talked to you before, crimes that are minor, they're heard typically in district court in Michigan. Crimes that are of a greater magnitude, like rape, like murder, those in Michigan are tried by a circuit court judge. If you want to appeal a circuit court case, you appeal it to the Court of Appeals. But the Court of Appeals has to grant a cert or certiorari, and that means they have to certify the case. If they don't certify the case to go before them, then whatever the circuit court said holds. Okay? Next is the Supreme Court of Michigan. Here again, if the court doesn't grant certiorari, the decision of the Court of Appeals or the decision of the circuit court stands. Now, one thing that's very important for you to understand, and that is to split your brain between civil and criminal. We talked about this in class. For instance, you could have a crime, and the crime would require a burden of proof, which is 100%, beyond a reasonable doubt. You'd believe that the defendant is guilty. In a civil case where you sue because of the damages as a result of the crime, you have a burden of proof, which is preponderance of the evidence. And all that means is over 50%. So I say 51%. Some say just more than the weight of a feather. That means just a little bit more than not. So you believe that the person is liable more by just a little bit over 50%. So you can see that there's a big difference between beyond a reasonable doubt and preponderance of the evidence. Next, I want you to understand that all crimes have to be in writing. And typically that is done through legislation. If it's not in writing, you can't charge somebody. So you can have state legislators, you can have city commissioners, you can have county commissioners, typically you can have federal Congress, and they pass laws, but those laws have to be in writing, and they're enforced by a prosecutor. The prosecutor is who brings the case for the public against the defendant or defendants. We just talked about the courts that try the cases. You have to have courts that try them, and it's the judge who either makes the decision or a jury. Next is individual versus corporation. You know, when we first thought of crimes way back when, it was the idea that it was the individual. Now, when you have something like VW situation, then what happens is that you might have corporations and you might have CEOs, or you might have individuals who are charged. In fact, in the VW case, for the first time, there's a CEO and many top employees who are going to be charged in the United States criminally. Plus, they're going to be charged civilly for crimes. So it's going to be a very interesting case for us to watch. And then finally, the amendments I want you to pay attention to. You can look them up because I have them on Bluescape for the first week. But the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 16th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment. What I want you to do before our next class is think to yourself, how do these amendments have an impact on criminal law? Because it might be on that pop quiz or it might be on the exam. Thank you very much.